Every professional athlete has a dread. It's not a bad performance or a losing streak, but the subtle, persistent fear that today could be the day that someone determines you're no longer good enough. For Lexie Hull, that sensation wasn't intermittent. It wasn't a challenging week or time. For 2 years, every single night, it occurred, and nobody outside the Indiana Fever locker room realized how terrible it truly was. Her tale differs from all the others that have come out of the WNBA's most turbulent, fascinating and explosive time, because Lexie Hull was discreetly going through one of the most. While everyone else watched Caitlin, she underwent incredible personal transformations in the history of women's basketball. From a man on the verge of losing everything to one of the league's biggest stars, Clark broke records and sold out venues around the country. Most truly captivating individuals. When she finally disclosed, "Choose to talk candidly about the experience from the inside out, but you needed to know precisely where." The 2022 WNBA draft seemed like a dream on paper, but Lexie Hull came from before any of it made sense. The 6th overall pick, national champion, 3 All-Pac, 12 awards, Stanford alumni, and winner of the Elite 90 award for the highest level of both athletic and academic achievement. Teams built around Lexie Hull's talent in every measurable manner. The kind of applicant whose credentials are so immaculate that they practically sparkle. The draft night cameras did not record what she was entering. The Indiana Fever were a bad team in 2022 basketball squad. According to most reports, they were among the worst teams in the league, missing out on the playoffs, losing seasons, and a culture that has been struggling to establish itself for years. There might not be a more challenging environment for a rookie player trying to establish herself in a professional league as opposed to one where the team surrounding you are also fighting for your life. Every time you perform, it seems like an audition. Every lost chance feels like evidence. Every modification has the ability to affect your future. In her first 2 seasons, take a moment to read that again. If you value this information, Hull averaged fewer than 5 points a game. Think about liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Surprisingly, almost 83% of people have not. Have you already subscribed? It's free and just takes a moment, but it means a lot to us. Fantastic. I sincerely appreciate your support. Let's return to the video. A Stanford basketball player who was selected in the top 10 of the draft and, despite playing more games, she was averaging fewer than 5 points per game despite winning a national championship. In her second season, she was still unable to consistently score more than 4 or 6 points although playing more than 20 minutes per night. The numbers weren't just gloomy, they were the kinds of numbers that previously ended careers. They really begin, but the figures only painted a partial image of what was happening inside Lexie. No one outside that structure could see Hull's head. Athletes rarely talk about dread freely. The culture of toughness in professional athletics discourages that kind of sensitivity, especially for athletes who are still attempting to blend in. Unlike the majority of athlete confessionals, in an interview with Glamour magazine, Hull described those early years in a different way, describing moments when the horror of missing a shot went beyond basketball. It has to do with getting by. She was really concerned that she may be eliminated entirely from the squad as a result of a single subpar on-court performance, a missed opportunity, or a poor read at a crucial. A Stanford graduate with a top 10 draft pedigree was lying awake at night, afraid that one missed jumper may kill her profession. In theory, that wasn't nervousness. She characterized those formative years as nerve-wracking in a way that went beyond the court. That was the real psychological burden of playing for a losing team on a daily basis. Team with no margin for error and no safety net beneath her. Losing cultures has a specific effect on a player's mental state. When there is no playoff run to give the season meaning and no win to lessen the challenging times, the stakes appear to be high even though the scenario isn't objectively high. Moreover, that setting was subtly detrimental, in ways that no outsider could truly understand for someone who was already questioning whether she actually fit at this level. Her revelation was noteworthy for its clarity and honesty. She was fully aware of what had been going on with her. She was able to recognize it. During live games, she was able to explain how her breathing, movement patterns, mechanics, and decision-making had all been impacted by the pressure. It's challenging to have that kind of self-awareness, which is crucial since it allowed her to respond as she did when everything around her suddenly and radically altered. The Indiana Fever selected Caitlin Clark with the first. Clark was the most prolific scorer when he was selected first overall in the WNBA draft in April 2024. Here's a brief summary of what that moment meant in both men's and women's NCAA basketball history. She revolutionized Big Ten women's basketball during her 4 years at Iowa basketball into a reputable national television event. She broke records that had stood for decades. She had transformed the Iowa Hawkeyes and sold out venues in places where women's collegiate basketball had never been played, becoming one of the most well-liked collegiate sports teams in the country. Additionally, there was a clear yet important concern about her WNBA debut. Was everything a college bubble that would explode the instant she started playing professionally? Or did any of this actually happen? Regarding rookie performance, the feedback was prompt and unambiguous. In terms of broadcast viewership and fan interaction, Clark surpassed previous WNBA records. Appear to be almost unimportant. The Indiana Fever changed overnight from one of the league's forgotten teams to the most talked about, controversial, and extensively covered squad in women's sports. The team was followed every place. The league as a whole took notice of their media presence, sellout audiences, and national broadcasts. That the Fever had become a must-see performance. However, what was most important to the guys that were present was what happened inside the lines. Additionally, Lexie Hull completely disregarded Clark's accomplishments on the floor. By most casual onlookers, there is a specific kind of player who, without necessarily controlling the box score themselves, changing the game for everyone in their vicinity. Despite the fact that Clark is clearly her most undervalued quality, according to those who play with her, is that she is a high scorer. Is more difficult to measure. It's her capacity to read a defense several steps ahead of the actual action. Her innate capacity to draw defensive attention and open doors for teammates that arise almost before the defense has a chance to respond to them. For Lexie Hull, that meant honest, uncontested perimeter opportunities that weren't the consequence of a lucky rotation or a poor play. She was making the shots she had been honing for years, something she hadn't done in professional seasons. The ones she was capable of making but had been too preoccupied to do frequently during games, and the results were remarkable. Hull's three-point shooting percentage in 2024 was 47.1%, which was among the top individual shooting results in the league that season, not just a personal best. In contrast, she had a three-point shooting ratio of roughly 36 or 37% when enrolled at Stanford. With the psychological weight of a failing culture pressing down, she had returned to that number on each shot she made, and as soon as she quit playing, she surpassed it entirely. She was aware of the impending transition and explained it in almost disarmingly simple terms. Open firing. Rather of clinging to each attempt, she knew that her effort was sincere. She let herself accept the outcome as if it were her last. No shooting coach or film session can give you that kind of mental freedom. It comes from believing in yourself, your teammates, and the system. Ho had found the third on her own, but the court was only one part of it. She had gotten the first two from Clark. Of the change, something unexpected was coming out of it. There were real concerns regarding, in a locker room full of athletes who had already spent years building relationships and a feeling of team identity, Clark's fit. As the most famous athlete in the sport and the face of a franchise makeover, she was drafted and received more media attention than any WNBA player in recent memory. She had played alongside teammates from her early years for 4 years at Iowa. She was already acquainted with players like Kate Martin and Gabby Marshall. Of this, before the records, before the national spotlight, and before the burden of unrealistic expectations, Indiana was distinct. These were professionals with their own careers, experiences, and complicated feelings about the importance of this event for the league and themselves. There were legitimate worries in some places. Would the seasoned players accept her? Would conflict result from the disparity in focus? Would the locker room be unable to support so much weight? The actual situation was very different from what anybody had expected, and it all started with Lexie Hull. The two clicked almost immediately. In the genuine, slightly messy way that genuine friendships grow, rather than in a polished, PR-managed way that is painstakingly built for media consumption. They were producing videos for TikTok, experimenting with drinks, and spending time off the court in Indianapolis. During the Olympic break, the WNBA sent players to Mexico. Everyone could see that the two were inseparable. This connection wasn't artificial, it was real. The dynamic had evolved into. By the time the 2025 season approached, it had a distinct name and identity in WNBA culture. Following Sophie Cunningham's trade, during the off-season, Clark, Hull, and Cunningham began calling themselves the Tracelocks after moving to Indiana. The trio became one of the most entertaining and charming presences in the league. At an LPGA Pro Am, they caddied together. They constantly teased each other on social media. Clark might benefit from additional sun exposure. Hull told People magazine, turning a set of photos from Fever Media Day into one of the funniest off-season moments in the league. Hull even posted a picture on Instagram with the caption, "We are so back," mocking Clark's well-known. It was the kind of camaraderie that only occurs when both people are completely comfortable with each other. That gave fans a unique look inside the world of professional athletics. Players' actual identities when the cameras aren't properly monitored. Hull then confirmed what many had. Interviewers were told that Clark would be there for her wedding, which was not a casual comment. Former Stanford baseball player Will Matson was selected in the 6th round of the 1919 MLB draft prior to A. He retired from the game due to a series of illnesses, and in April 2025, Hull got engaged. Following his draft selection and relocation. After meeting her at Stanford, Matson relocated to Indianapolis to be with her. He gave up playing baseball, focused his life on hers, and now he was at the heart of one of the most important moments in her life. It's not a PR stunt, Caitlin Clark was also supposed to be there. However, while all of this was happening, Hull was quietly preparing to say something that would undermine every positive report. And carefully positioned Instagram photo. She was getting ready to be truthful in a manner that would have been. Most players in her situation avoided her totally. The 2025 WNBA season was anticipated with great anticipation. Clark was the most significant rookie in league history at the completion of her first season. Moving into her second year, there was no doubting the difference in her, according to Hull. There was a seriousness to Clark's presence about it that had never existed before. Her clarity and attention were evident to everyone in her vicinity. That she had completed her transition and was ready to assume leadership. Prior to the start of the season, Hull informed reporters that it was. Everyone in her near vicinity could sense that Clark was ready to conduct business.